Hello everyone, this is Kona, and thank you for tuning in for another TF2 video. This time it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to do a Q&A with Prof. Snape.
Hey, what's up guys? I am here in Hawaii, of course, and I'm very happy I completed the mission, MBM, Man Up, finally.
Yeah, that took forever.
I know, it took a long time. But I have some questions that I thought would be really cool. And so let's just run through these questions and hear what your answers are. So, the first question is, what is your favorite class in TF2 and why?
That's, I would have to say, generally, Soldier. I know it seems kind of weird. I would like to say Huntsman, because that was my favorite weapon. But, you know, when you're playing as a Huntsman, sometimes it feels a little lonely. So, when you're a Soldier, you can rocket jump all over the place. I really like rocket jumping. I started using a script, so I can actually rocket jump really high on command and not screw up every time. Yeah, I do that sometimes. But yeah, rocket jumping is really fun with Soldier, and you're always on the front line pretty much all the time. So you get that sense of teamwork, which is really nice.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so next question is YouTube related, and so it's, why did you start making YouTube videos on your own?
Well, I've seen other people make YouTube videos, like YouTube commentaries and stuff. I know that there was Gary Mod stuff that involved TF2 characters, but I didn't really want to make those. I liked watching them, but not really making them. I actually started on Twitch TV streaming TF2 over the summer, last summer actually, and you know, because of my schedule, because of me moving to grad school and such, I couldn't really continue the Twitch TV streaming. It's very difficult to fit that in my schedule. So YouTube was an alternative. That way I can make videos on my own time and post them whenever. So it fits my schedule a little bit more.
Okay. And so, you know, it's man versus machine time right now, and you know, you just made a video about you completing it, and you showed some gameplay and gave some tips. So overall, what are your thoughts on man versus machine now that you've done a tour? And like, how would you rate it on a scale of like maybe A through F?
Okay, so we have a pretty good group of people who we went through the entire man versus machine, all 6 missions, so we completed our tour of duty. In fact, I completed 2 tours of duty, so I got 2 bot killer weapons. It's not too bad. You know, once you figure out a strategy, like I said this before on my thoughts before it came out, the reason it's not so bad is that once you find the exploit, once you find a really good strategy, you just keep doing it over and over again. And the bots don't adapt. You know, they don't adapt to you changing up your strategy or to your strategy at all. And so it becomes easy. And now it kind of feels like just grinding for gold in an MMORPG, you know, just going to, you know, just constantly doing this thing over and over again. You always win pretty much. You know you can win. It's not really of a challenge. It's just a matter of putting the time into man versus machine to get those weapons at the end. And so now that we're done with it, it's not as fun anymore. When it was first going on, when I first, you know, was learning about this new game mode, it was like up there to like an A or something like that. It was actually really fun because it was really fun trying to work with your team to figure out a strategy. But once we figured out the strategy, maybe a B or so. It's still sort of fun because you get the reward at the end. Yeah. But it's not as good as before because we found the exploit, we found the strategy that wins, and all we have to do is keep on doing it over and over again.
Yeah. Okay, that's a pretty high rating though. You know, it's better than average, right? So,
yeah. I think it's a pretty good job that Valve did.
Yeah. Okay, so next question is, if you could create a weapon to add in this game, what would it be? Like either attributes of a weapon, or maybe like a weapon from a promo game that's coming up, or like what weapon would you like to see added to TF2?
I kind of want to see something for the medic. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be, but I want to encourage more people to play medics because if Man vs. Machine taught people anything about TF2, it's that medics are the most important class in the game. but it's the least played class because it's the most boring and you don't get to kill anyone. I wish there was some incentive for... I don't know if it would be a weapon. Maybe it would be a feature or of the medic that he can equip or something like that. But something to encourage like more points or something like that, or they should increase the drops or something.
Yeah, while you play medic.
While you play medic, you increase
always
the
get
drop
a
rate. Yeah. Oh, people be playing medic so much. We have like so many medics, but yeah, it's so frustrating when you're trying to work as a team and you don't have a medic because people don't like playing medic. They need a weapon or something, maybe an SMG to help them out, make them a little bit more powerful. Maybe not, but because some medics might just go in there with the SMG and start killing people instead of healing. But yeah, some perk for the medic would be really nice so that people would play that class more.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so this next one's a big one. So, what... everyone has unusuals right now. Not everyone, but it seems like everyone. Because...
Yeah, I see a lot of people with
a lot of people have
sometimes.
unusuals. And they're not as unusual or rare as they used to be. Because, a lot of people are finding them. And so, what class or what hat or what effect would you like for your... Because you don't have one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so which hat or class or effect would you like for your first unusual? Like, what is your dream unusual?
I would like the rain cloud. I've seen this before, or I think there's actually two variants of the clouds. There's like a normal cloud.
And a snowy one?
Maybe the snowy one.
Oh, okay.
I'm not exactly sure if it's snowing or not, but one is white, and then one is like a darker gray rain cloud.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay,
There's two variants I've seen before. I would really like the rain cloud effect above. I'm not sure if that's class specific or something. I don't know exactly how that works, but yeah, the rain cloud is probably the one particle effect that I would really like for an unusual.
And then what hat or class?
Hat would probably be a sniper hat, but the sniper hats, they're not all that great.
Yeah.
Maybe probably because I play Huntsman a lot sometimes, and Huntsman is a class that I like to go in there and actually wear a hat.
Yeah.
Rather than just stay back. If you stay back, the hat is not it's not that important because no one is going to see it until you kill them with the freeze cam. But yeah, if you're a Huntsman, you're pretty much on the front lines and stuff, so everyone's going to see your hat. So that's why I want the hat for a sniper.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So this is actually an interesting question because I actually saw it on the thread, TF2 thread forum. And so if you could add one more class to this game, what would it be? Or, if you could take away one class from this game, what would it be?
If I could take away a class... I don't know about adding a class. When I was thinking about adding a class, there was this rumor long ago about the engineer had this like metal dog. And I was like, is that a new class? Or is that some kind of new sentry gun for the engineer? Like, oh, that'd be kind of interesting. And now that they have these bots for MVM... It would be kind of interesting to be, or have them playable,
Yeah.
Have people play as the bots or something, and maybe you have some special perk about you that is not the default. That would be kind of interesting. But if I were to take away a class, it would probably be Sniper.
Okay, why?
They're one of the classes that, they can get important picks, but... when everyone goes sniper on your team, you really feel the effect of that. You really start to feel like when you have 3 or 4 snipers, you start to really feel like there is no front line, and you have to push up constantly. You don't even know where the enemy is because you can't establish a solid front line because you have too many snipers trying to snipe, and once they miss, the enemy pushes up some more, and it screws up this whole your whole attack. So. Yeah. I would have to say, take away the sniper. Even though Huntsman is my favorite weapon, people don't usually play like that. They like to go in the back and snipe. So, yeah.
Cool. So, I guess, in terms of your favorite weapon, you've already said the Huntsman, but what is your least favorite weapon in the game? And there are a lot of weapons in the game.
Well, it's probably the least favorite weapon. It would have to be for Spy, the Kunai.
Really?
I mean, there are other bad weapons out there. It's like very, very situational, kind of like the short circuit for the engineer. But I don't play engineer a whole lot. I do play some spy, and when I play as spy, the kunai is one of the most difficult weapons to be really good at. You know,
Yeah.
you have to play very cautiously, and I don't like to play cautiously as when I'm spy. I like to have a lot of health, go in there, dead ringer or stuff, and be able to take some damage. With the kunai, there are basically no perks until you get a kill. You have to guarantee the kill before you get that special perk, the health boost. So it's just really difficult to to really use that weapon in a fun way. You have to play too cautiously, and I just
Okay. So there are a lot of cool maps. We had the new one that just came out, the King of the Hill one. And so what are your favorite maps in TF2 that you like to play?
Upward. I know everyone is gonna be like, oh yeah, of course. Upward it's a map for everyone. That's what I really like about it, and I think that's why it's very popular as well. It's a map where everyone can do everything. It doesn't cater towards a specific class. Kind of like Doomsday. I've mentioned before that Doomsday was catered really towards like soldiers and maybe even engineers and stuff. But Upward seems like a very balanced map where people can kind of play any class they want. They can snipe if they want. A really good spy map. A really good soldier, pretty much any class, and that's why I like that. Badwater is another example where it caters to all the classes. It's really well balanced, and so it makes the map fun that way, where you can actually play the classes you want.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, so I'm sure a lot of people ask you, like, especially like a lot of new people that came maybe to MVM, to TF2, and they really don't know much beyond just, oh, it's a rocket launcher or it's a minigun. Let me just shoot things, But like, what advice? Because we all started off as beginners, Some of us are all free to play. Not all of us, but some people are free to play. Some people have picked it up, just recently. So, what advice would you give to beginners in TF2? And from that advice, how do beginners get better?
The first thing is probably learn to work as a team. I know it's very hard to work as randoms, but what I found is that it's surprising of how many people on public servers actually have mics, but they don't use them because they don't know anyone. It kind of takes that first person on the server to have a mic to start talking. And once you start talking, it becomes really fun, and you start, for me at least, when I have fun, I kind of do well. I don't have to try super hard, like that's the only thing I focus on. Yeah. If I'm having fun, I just kind of naturally do well, and it's fun to communicate. You can, coordinate with your team, your attacks and stuff. That's really important in TF2 because this is all about teamwork. So yeah, I think the teamwork thing is a really important thing to work on for beginners. And I know it's going to be hard because you don't know anything about the game, but at least you'll break that barrier of being able to communicate with your teammates. And once you do that, I think it'll be more fun. And once you learn that, you can move on to the really specifics of like gun skill, movement, and that kind of stuff. Yeah. That kind of motor skills, it's generally the same in pretty much all first-person shooters. And that's how I've gotten like pretty good motor skills and gun skill is just play a lot of first-person shooters.
Yeah. So yeah. What classes would you recommend for people like beginners to stick with?
Well, I would say soldier and heavy are going to be your main classes to start off with, mainly because they're the most basic. They don't have much like gimmicks. People usually start off with pyro because pyro, on the surface, it looks very simple. You run forward, you just spray everyone with fire. It seems fundamentally, I mean, people just charge, yeah. But it seems fundamentally simple because like you have a flamethrower, you have limited range, so you have to get in there and burn people. But that is, it's not the right way to play pyro if you want to stay alive. You might get a few kills, but you might die really fast. So what I recommend is sticking with something like soldier or heavy, more ranged classes that are very generic. You'll get the basic motor skills down. You'll probably understand as you look around at your teammates, you'll understand what the other classes do, and then later on you can actually go and play other classes. Do not start as Spy, though. Spy is the most difficult class to play, and you should really learn the other classes first before you play as Spy.
Well, and those two classes that you mentioned both have the highest health. So
they have a lot of health too, right?
You won't tend to die as often. Like, you won't get, one-shotted or, one rocket or, one grenade and you're dead. Like most of their classes that are 150 and under, like, there's a lot of things that will kill you that aren't instant kills. Whereas at least with Heavy and Soldier, you can stand a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think...
If you play as Heavy, you might get backstabbed a lot. I know Spies like to go pub stomping and stuff because easy kills on Heavies who don't turn around. But still, Heavy is one of the easiest classes to use just because the concept of the Heavy is very simple and you have a lot of health.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so this next question, now that, I don't know when this is coming out, but I-46 is coming up. It's really hyped up because we have American teams going to Europe.
2 American teams.
Yeah, so it's going to be really hype. We'll see if they have a good show. So, who is your favorite player or competitive team in TF2? Because there's a lot of TF2 competitive players, not YouTube people, but actual I don't want to say skilled because that's the wrong word, but people who compete at a higher level. Right. Whether that's Steel UGC to Platinum UGC or to ESCA Open, Intermediate, and Invite. Like, who's like your favorite player?
It would have to be Banny. Banny plays the demo on, what was it?
He plays for LG.
LG, right? Yeah, LG. And for some reason, people get hyped when Banny plays. And it's so... I get hyped too because he plays as Demo Man. He mains Demo Man. He has an insane amount of hours on Demo Man. Whenever I watch him play, he places the sticky bombs in locations that I would never think of. And he has just really good sense of where everyone is on the map. He can use those sticky to their advantage. And the huge air shots with the pipe bombs. Yeah. I would love to learn how to do that because... whenever Banny does it, the chat goes nuts, like everyone goes nuts, even the commentators, like Banny with the huge air shot and stuff because it's with a pipe bomb. So he's probably my favorite TF2 competitive player.
Cool.